Dark Blood by Enhypen was released on May 22, 2023, as their fourth mini-album, with the promise of being the first of a new series of albums, after the duologies Border Day 1 and Carnival and Dimension Dilemma and Answer, the Blood series. Released after 10 months of hiatus since the last comeback, Manifesto Day 1, and the subsequential First World Tour, Dark Blood brought back the strong vampire lore present in their early tracks, such as Drunk Dazed and Given Taken, both instant hits in the K-pop industry. The vampire theme is used as a motif since their debut, with metaphors about walking into a new world, a human turning into a vampire, meaning that they were leaving their common life and turning into artists. In Dark Blood, the focus is on themes such as fate, curse, regret, sacrifice, and obsession, all related to love, in the lenses of an immortal being, on top of dark pop beats and lyrics that sound like poetry from the medieval times. With 3 versions composing the concepts of the album, full, half, and new, just like the moon phases, and a cinematographic concept trailer by renowned commercial film director Yu Kwang-gong, they referenced iconic love stories, such as Romeo Juliet by William Shakespeare, which also has love, regret, and sacrifice as main plot lines. In this sense, full version leaves a strong vampire imagery in the clothes chosen, and in the scenery made of coffins, candles, and a bed, all inside a church, the touch of Catholic guilt bringing a distinct flavor, with the makeup being the stamp of a top-notch vampire style. This version represents the love aspect of the album and how they wished they could protect their lover forever by becoming an immortal being. The twist in it is that a vampire is more than immortal, it is also a monster in constant hunger that feeds itself with the demise of others. Half version presents the members in a lake-like location, all of them wet and a bit hurt, while the posters and concept films show Jake and Sunghoon underwater. This version represents the regret aspect of the album. They are falling into the inhumanity of vampires and realizing that not being humans means they are cursed and their desire to protect their lover was an illusion. The water component strikes as a vulnerability to the ex-humans. In the end, the new version marks the sacrifice aspect of the album, with different types of red flowers with meanings that expand between immortality and eternal love. It shows them accepting the result of the sacrifice of their mortality. As immortals, they embrace the hunger for blood and their new fate as cursed monsters. The composition of the candles, lights, and the altar at the end of the church corridor brings a remembrance of Romeo Juliet by director Luhrmann, but it's not just it. The dialogue about moons in the movie, the pool scene where they declare their love and Romeo's fantasy at the party, also seems to be referenced during Dark Blood. Within the 6 new tracks, Fate, Bite Me, Sacrifice, Eat Me Up, Chikanen, and Karma, Enhypen tell us a complete story about someone who finds an awakening by realizing they are fated through blood to sacrifice for his counterpart, loses himself to the curse, and regrets the choices made. In the end, they declare to not care about the fate that turned out to be a curse. Fate, the opener and the surprise intro of the album, starts with their usual narration until it develops to eerie and heavenly vocals. The lyrics state that they lost themselves because the yearning for power to protect a beloved became pure greediness. The motive for effort to get better was forgotten and love turned selfishness until the point of oblivion. But Dark Blood is the realization that the suffering of being a vampire has a reason, to be able to protect a lover for eternity. They berate themselves for neglecting it, saying that the mark on their neck must be a constant reminder of their fate as eternal protectors. Fate presents itself as a promise to never forget again, because their wish is to be forever grateful for the eternity that being transformed to a vampire gave them, and devoting to the point of sacrifice is their way to show gratitude. They don't shy at admitting that their passage wasn't easy, and that is the moment when they became monsters who lost everything and declare to be ready for offering themselves if necessary. Fate is more about a promise than destiny itself. It's a declaration of profound love, maybe even non-healthy love, but love in a way everyone wishes to be loved one day. Bite Me, title track and second on the track list, maintain the heavenly vocals with a strong harmonization in the first 10 seconds of the song, announcing from the beginning that all they have is you in this world. Keeping the storyline from the intro Fate, the lyrics goes on to talk about fate, regrets about forgetting their path, and a promise to be forever by the side of their savior. Declaring trust until the point of offering their neck to be marked, almost begging for forgiveness and to be tied to a fate of eternal protectors, the destiny of a sidekick is interpreted as a salvation from the curse of a monster. It's like a purpose for their existence, and not simply living as an inhumane creature. It feels as if a chance to redeem after almost losing their way.
It's you and me in this world. 내게로 다시 와 time me. 날 구원할 거라면 just come kiss me and bite me.
The third track, Sacrifice Eat Me Up, brings the anguish to another level, with the title of the song being heavily present on the lyrics as they claim to be ready for sacrifice and beg to be devoured. The scenery painted is that life is a dying heart, but getting swallowed can be more than a penance. It is a way to be saved from the darkness that is consuming them. The contrast between light and darkness, good and evil, are strong in the lyrics and the music video released. In this sense, to end the punishment from fate is to offer blood and flesh to someone they see as purer than the inhumane creatures that they became, which didn't even fulfill their destiny. It feels like they are trying to convince someone that not everything is lost and they are willing to go above and beyond to be forgiven. Chikan, a fan favorite and the fourth song of the mini-album, deserves a whole separated analysis. The name derives from a piece written by Bach to his dead wife, but there is also a sexily swirling dance with the same name around the same time, the Baroque period, and both of it can be felt by the Enhypen song. It is a dark song with a ghostly voice opening, warning you that it's Chikan again now. The lyrics goes on setting the ambience, talking about dark castles, nothing more Baroque than this, and dead flowers, until the chorus, when they stay dance for me forever, finally telling us what Chikan is. A dance of death. It is a reminiscence of Drunk Dazed. In which they are young vampires seeking the thrill of fresh blood, and in Chikan this blood hunger appears as a demand for dancing non-stop. They repeatedly talk about the scent of the dead flowers, and a possible interpretation is that it is blood. Enhypen Sunghoon said in an interview that this track tells the story of a boy who becomes completely consumed by his own self and dance, eventually facing his downfall, meaning that the vampires once again were caught in their thirst and forgot about their fate, that being their curse. The second to last track, Bills, presents a sad, despair-like atmosphere. The overall intention of the song is to talk about regrets and suffering, as shown in the line, "How much do I have to get hurt so I can pay it back?" This being the sequence of Chikan makes us think about how they gave in to the vampire needs and now must be acknowledging the consequences of it. But the most important thing is that, again, they are ready to pay the price of their mistakes, this time asking to be left behind as a way of sacrifice. The metaphor used this time has little in common with vampire stuff. Prices, bills and signing are all human stuff. But it strikes even more profoundly, as if they are refusing the vampire status after succumbing to it again. All of it in the name of the most overpowering love ever described. Karma, the ending song of the mini-album, almost gives a whiplash for how much it diverts from everything presented until now, but it also serves as a bridge to the next album of the Blood series. With a strong drum and the always-present electric guitar, Enhypen appears as rock stars engaging with a crowd screaming about not giving a what to fate and karma, or whatever anyone wants to call it. They declare to be prepared to confront anything with the goal of being together forever, crossing time and space, against all probabilities and even death and rebirth. It feels more than a promise, but a manifest of love in the most vampire way possible. It all brings to the conclusion: no one ever vampired the way Enhypen vampires.